I'm Mark Osborne, director of The Little Prince and Kung Fu Panda.
When it comes to computer-generated imagery and computer animation, how have you seen the evolution of technology impact the way you can tell stories creatively?
It's interesting because when I started out making films, I was making shorts, I was shooting on 16 millimeter, I was building everything and shooting stop motion animation, and I really was in love with stop motion animation, and I really felt like when digital cameras started coming in and digital technology started coming in, I really felt like I was always going to want to work analog, and I really felt like for a while I held off. And then once I started understanding sort of how digital tech could help even in a stop motion environment, I became more open to the idea of shooting with a digital camera. Now it's the norm. Using frame grabbers, using digital technology to help, like Dragon Frame software is like an unbelievably amazing tool to shoot stop motion. And so that stuff I think helped me start to make the transition. I was already kind of dabbling in Photoshop and After Effects and starting to try to figure out if there were other tools that could help me do stuff. And then, I never thought I would work in CG animation. And eventually when I got the opportunity to work on Kung Fu Panda, and it was, I was really amazed at how much flexibility using CGI was going to give me as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, as working in animation. It's very iterative and it gave a lot more freedom than in stop motion where, you shoot it and if something went wrong, you have to reshoot it, There's no tweaks, So I don't know, it's been interesting for me in particular as a filmmaker to sort of adopt these other tools and try to figure out ways to use, more advanced tools to help kind of tell these stories that I want to tell, but I still feel like I have like an independent spirit at heart. I still have like an analog, I still want it to feel like you're shooting through glass. I still want to feel like it's real, And so I think technology is now getting more and more advanced to be able to help for someone like me who wants it to feel as analog as possible, to be able to do that.
When it comes to technology, it's advancing so quickly that even when you're starting on a film like a Kung Fu Panda, by the time you get to the end, it's already kind of way up here.
Yeah.
What are the challenges of having that level playing field, knowing, hey, 3-4 years from now, technology is going to be here, but our film has to kind of have the sets have to be the same.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because we were struggling because they couldn't update our avids. They couldn't, there were new versions of software that we couldn't utilize. There were, things that we were having problems with. We could already see the shows that were ahead of us, or behind us were actually being able to use that stuff. And and the technology advancing so quickly. I was in love with the idea of going independent, and that's how I did The Little Prince, because I really believe that if you could be independent and you could be using the latest, greatest technology, you could actually solve a lot of problems and work quicker and have more of an ability to have a more robust creative process. And I've seen that, and that's what's great about coming to a conference like this. You start to hear about all these new advanced tools that are being utilized and all these great new opportunities that technology provides the filmmaking process.
What role do you see independent play in CGI today?
Well, I think it's getting easier and easier to make a really incredible looking film at a very low budget. It's never going to be free and it's never going to be super easy, but it's there's always challenges. But I think it's actually putting more robust filmmaking tools in the hands of more artists, and I think that's what's kind of incredible. The amount of independent animated films that are happening is really, I think, just from a real boom in how available tech is.
We have some of the creators of Kubo here. They were here last year as well.
Yeah.
But given the success that film has had recently, what impact, as someone who loves stop motion, do you feel that will have on that medium going forward?
It's incredible what Leica has been doing to sort of advance, the medium and allow stop motion to be doing more bigger things. I mean, Kubo was amazing because it was so epic and it was, planned that way, and they used a lot of digital technology to help pull it off. And I think it's films like that just push the boundaries. They just make it easier. And even The Little Prince, the fact that we were using stop motion and CG animation to tell that story, we were able to actually push for something as an independent film that would have been impossible in the studio system. But now I'm talking to studios about doing more sort of bolder mixed media approaches, more experimental techniques that were, you know, unheard of 5 years ago. But because these films are out there innovating, it's actually making it more apparent and more, it's easier for people to be more aware of what the possibilities are. And that's what I think is amazing about what Kubo did. It's just like, it blew it open, made a big, epic film possible in stop motion.
So are you, like, I know you just talked about liking the whole independent world, but is the studio system something you're looking to return to at some point?
Well, I'm developing projects now, and all the projects I'm developing at the moment, I mean, I still have sort of projects on the back burner that will probably be independent projects that'll hopefully be able to pull off someday. But I just wanted to take this opportunity after making Little Prince to try to find a way to tell some of these stories that I love, that I think are a good fit. And again, it's trying to be independent as possible within a studio structure, so that we can actually reach a wide audience, make big movies, make great big animated movies that will hopefully last.
When it comes to Kung Fu Panda, that succeeded not only with multiple films and TV shows, but also video games. And I was wondering if you ever went out and played any of the games or checked out what was going on in that realm.
I think I tried early on. There was one game. I know that they just released a game recently, but yes. I haven't tried it. I kind of, when I worked on the first movie and then kind of stepped away from that world entirely. So I wasn't involved in the second or the third or the TV series or games or anything. But I think that it's weird how big that franchise kind of grew into something pretty massive. I want to play the game that just came out.
The fighting game.
Yeah, because that was what we were asking for in the beginning. And our whole crew, all our story team were huge gamers. Whenever they weren't boarding, they were playing Halo together through the walls. They poked holes in the walls and they were networked. And they were all begging for a fighting game, like an old school fighting game. So it's amazing. It took, 10 years to do it, but they did it, yeah.
When it comes to that medium, the storytelling, the animation, everything that's going on in gaming, does that world inspire you at all? I'm actually obsessed with Destiny 2 right now, and I've been I have to stay away from games because I get so involved that I have time for little else, and so I usually try to stay away, but I got really into Destiny, and then Destiny 2 was like a given. And I would say, I've always been a gamer ever since I had Pong as a kid, and I had, the original Atari and ColecoVision, and it's like, so I'm definitely I'm always intrigued by the latest and the new thing, and then the next gen, and I'm always adopting it and trying it, but trying to steer clear of it because it soaks up all my time. I think gaming and movies to me exist in different realms, and I find it I love it when games are just games and they aren't trying to be movies on top of it, And I think Destiny has a really good balance. I think there's a lot of story there. There's a huge world to explore, but it's such a great, robust gaming experience that I think it's probably my most preferred way to unwind and detox, And it's also multiplayer, so it's not like you're by yourself.
Yeah, well, my son plays. The problem is right now he got me into it, and then he helps me, but we haven't gone so far as to have two systems in the house, so we can't actually play simultaneously. That's probably the next frontier for us, yeah.
When it comes to those two mediums obviously existing in different worlds right now, I want to get your thoughts as a storyteller, virtual reality, because that kind of connects those two worlds together. I
think I tried VR, I thought to me, it's going to be amazing for gaming. I can't wait until it's not, it is I can imagine a future where it's just for gaming, it's going to be incredible. For telling a story, I have seen examples of incredible work that was really emotional, really profound, and so it's kind of exciting to see it used to tell stories. I am having a hard time. I've been asked to come up with stories for that environment and for that medium, and I can't figure it out. And I kind of I don't know. I'm cautious about it only because as a storyteller, I still feel like I'm still trying to figure out how to tell a story on a flat screen, and I'm still, you know what I mean? Like that's a huge challenge, and to change the rules entirely, and you know, and I try to think about it like theater, and I try to think about it like, okay, it's this other experience, and yeah, it's been hard to come up with a story or an idea that'll be a fit for it. So yeah, I would love to actually utilize it, and like I said, I've enjoyed what I've experienced. You know, I want to get one. I was looking into it, and I'm not a PC guy. I'm a Mac guy, so I'm like, soon, hopefully, it'll be
They're
super
on Mac
easy.
now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can use the Vive.
Oh.
I know for sure on the Macs now. They just announced it at the Apple Worldwide
Wow,
Conference.
I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
that'll make life easier. Yeah.